Hi guys, it's Chris with Expat Theory again. 2 days in a row. I hate to do this, but I gotta go political again. Gotta be careful. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but there was a uh, post released. I can't verify or validate the accuracy, but there was a post released recently in regards to one of the government's alphabetical agencies that deals with the security of the homeland that put up banners or indicators for, let's say, homegrown bad guys. I have to be careful of my speech because of this, okay? And I'll explain as I go. Um, some of those indicators are if you don't go along with the current medical crisis agenda, you're considered a homegrown bad guy. If you have any questions, doubts, or concerns about a previous election cycle, you're a homegrown or possibly a homegrown bad guy. And you don't want to get the poke in the arm and you have cares and concerns about that, you're possibly a homegrown bad guy. And these little indicators are spreading over to social media, and the social media is taking actions against those individuals and content creators that don't go with the flow. Certain groups that deal with men's issues have been restricted and or removed, and anybody that's not going with the agenda that's being pushed is having indicators placed upon them so they can be reviewed and determined whether or not they need to be taken down. And part of the reason why this pops up is, of all things, I'm driving on my way here to Oklahoma City again because I have another trailer problem. And come to find out about that, I was correct. We used to have people going out to our static locations and fixing these trailers, and they're not doing it, so more and more of the trailers are coming up with problems that the drivers are having to deal with. So anyway, I'm on my way here to Oklahoma City to get my trailer looked at, and I just tapped on my weather widget on my phone, and at the bottom of the forecast is statistical numbers for the current medical crisis in a particular state. Talking about new incidents. I don't want to use the word for it, but also new life terminations. So I'm sorry I have to speak like this because the algorithms that are being used, if you use certain words, it flags you, which I shouldn't have said flagged. So, but puts one indicator upon you. It's just a simple matter of they're pushing this agenda everywhere. They have to instill fear everywhere, anywhere and everywhere you look. Me trying to figure out what the weather's going to be on a weather widget is not an open door for them to toss out their agenda at me. So I kind of didn't really appreciate that. I was kind of like ticked off at it. But also, it afforded me the opportunity to put a little basic math and a little critical thinking to it. Now, of course, the math is going to be based on only on the numbers they provided on that little thing, that little update blurby thing. Not accurate for statewide, countrywide, or even worldwide or anything of that nature. Because you would have to use a whole different set of numbers to get to reality. Okay? But the numbers of new incidences and new life terminations, you can throw that in there in the mix as far as figuring out a rate at which people are coming to termination. And the numbers they gave were 9 new terminations and 5,446 new cases. Whoops, which I shouldn't have said. It's going to be difficult, man. It's hard to freaking talk. It's hard to have a conversation because you have to be fearful of the actions of what they're going to do to you. If you get indicated as being a problem, they'll take your channel down and remove you. So, doing the basic math using 9 and the 5,446, that comes out to be a 0.02 rate in which people are reaching termination. That's just ballpark off the top of my head, doing math in my head. It's in the realm of accuracy, but not pinpointed. So the entire world is dealing with this situation based on numbers of 0.02, basically. So those numbers are extremely low compared to other incidences, other life-ending situations that we deal with on a daily basis. I would venture to say that you have a much higher risk of dying in an automobile accident, especially here in the U.S. So why aren't cars outlawed? Why aren't highways destroyed and torn down? I would almost venture to say you have a worse chance flying. And flying's really safe, actually. So why do we have airports? Why aren't we taking down the airports and destroying them and grounding all airplanes permanently? You know what I'm saying? It all boils down to basically an agenda and power, control, economics. Certain individuals, corporations, and entities are profiting off of this hugely, while others are being shut down and restricted. So it's not really about safety. It's not about health. It's not about saving lives. And it's about fear. And they're pushing that everywhere they can. And they're throwing out numbers to scare you. And it's driving me a little bit batty, to be honest with you. It's driving me a little bit batty because it's starting to really affect my ability to live my life in the ways that I want. I've told you, I'm already having issues with my trailers, having issues when I pull into truck stops. The restaurants, half of them are closed. The other half have restricted hours because they can't get employees. Can't get employees because the government is buying people's votes by handing them money and letting them stay home instead of getting out here and joining the workforce and earning a living. No, they stay at home and get paid by the government. And you're never going to bite the hand that feeds you, so who are you going to vote for if they're giving you money to be able to stay home and not have to work? It's common sense, actually. And if I were someone who did not have the fortitude that I have, and I chose to stay home and take that money, I wouldn't vote against them, because I'd be voting against me getting paid. I'd be voting against me getting free money. No, I'm going to vote for the people that are going to keep giving me free stuff and allowing me to stay home and not have to work. So they're selling their votes. They're selling their freedom. And it's affecting the rest of us who aren't buying into it and aren't taking the payoff. We're being affected because everybody else is trying to push us and force us to follow the agenda. So we've got to change. I'm sorry, but this whole fear agenda needs to come to an abrupt end. People need to get their butts back to work. We need to quit handing out free money, which ain't free, because it comes out of my pocket and everybody else that's out here working who's never missed a day during this whole incident or crisis or whatever you want to call it. Many of us have never missed a day. A lot of us have worked harder now than we've done before. And they're taking it away from us and handing it to others. They're using our money against us. And it's ridiculous. And it needs to come to a stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if people start standing up and saying no. We need to start removing politicians that are going along with this stuff and pushing this stuff. We need to just stop it. And that's not going to happen until we stand up. So we're going to have to voice our opinions. We're going to have to start telling them no, we're not playing this game anymore. And until we do that, until we shut the Karens up and put the Chads in their place and the little man bun and skinny jean dudes in their place and tell them, no, we're not playing your game anymore, it's going to continue. So, again, that's my 2 cents. But just very frustrated with the whole situation. And it just doesn't stop. I guess that's the other thing that's kind of crawling under my skin. It just don't stop. We've been doing this for over a year now. Almost a year and a half. And it continues. And don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Because we're not standing up against it. We're not saying no. We're not putting our foot down and going, no, this is ridiculous and we're not going to do it anymore. And until we reach that point, it's going to continue. They'll find another reason to continue. I got a sign on the door here at Oklahoma City that's saying that masks are required in the building. I was just here. I wasn't there before. That was down. But here we are back at it again. Why? Because we don't tell them no. We're not stopping it. We're not putting an end to it. And we need to remove the people that are in positions of power, supposedly, our elected officials that are pushing this agenda. We need to pull them out of the position. Put somebody in there that'll actually stand up for us. We got to stop this ridiculous stuff and get back to living our lives and being normal and not having to have a card in your pocket that says you've been poked in the arm. No, there's a lot of issues there. I don't even want to delve into that, but no. First thing that popped in my head when they started talking about this little card thing is, oh, well, why don't you just go to the companies that are already providing the microchips that you can put under your skin? Because they have the data storage for that. They can just put it on your chip. I don't know how many of you are interested in taking a chip under your skin so that the government knows where you are and can scan you at any time. But that's kind of fits into that agenda too. It's all part of it. They just haven't started talking about that yet. But I suspect that's coming. Those companies will jump up and go, oh yeah, we can put all your medical stuff right there. Easy, scan, done. Got every access to everything. You don't even have to carry a card. Just put your hand under the scanner. That's coming. They haven't talked about it yet, but that's coming. This is the ridiculous crap, man. We've got to do something about it. We've got to put our foot down and say, no, we've got to stop it. Anyway, there's my 2 cents. Sorry to vent, but it's getting really frustrating. You can't go any day without it being thrown in your face and affecting your world. Now, some people a lot more than mine, you know, because I'm so isolated in my truck. I don't face it nearly as much as a lot of other people, but I'm still seeing it, hearing it, feeling it out here every day, and it's just non-stop until we put an end to it, until we stop it. All right, guys, that's it. That's my rant. I will yell at you guys again later in another video. Till then, be safe, be good, and we'll see you in the next one.